How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to another Driven YouTube channel video. Today we're not going to be doing anything maintenance wise on this car. We're going to be doing something a little bit more fun. We're going to be replacing the factory subwoofer in this car. Now, this limited 4Runner comes with a JBL sound system, and it sounds pretty good from factory. However, the subwoofer is definitely lacking. So I got a new 8-inch subwoofer and a new amplifier that we're going to swap out, and we're going to see if it truly makes a difference on this car. And I do want to preface, this is the first time I'm ever doing something with the audio system on a vehicle, so we're going to learn as we go, and I've done a ton of research, so hopefully this goes all smooth. So here's a quick rundown of what we're going to do in this video. First, we're going to test out that stock JBL subwoofer and see what the decibel output is, so that way we could see if it's really an increase with this new system. We're also going to talk about the parts and tools that we've got to make this job happen, and then talk about the disassembly and the installation of this system. And then we're going to test it out and see if it's really worth that price. So right in the trunk, this is where the JBL subwoofer lives from factory. This is a factory sound system, and I think it's pushing around 22 watts. That's what people on the internet say. So we're going to be replacing it with a system that pushes out 250 watts RMS and 700 watts peak. And first we got to take a look at what the decibel output is of this JBL subwoofer. So we're going to play a 50 hertz test tone and see what kind of output we get. All right, so I do need my phone to play the 50 hertz test tone, and that's what I'm recording on. So I'm actually doing a screen recording on this iPad. It'll be reading the output from that JBL subwoofer. I'm gonna close the hatch and play that 50 hertz test tone. So as you were able to tell from that screen recording, we were getting around 70 to 73 decibels on the measurement when we're listening to a volume that I normally would listen to. So we'll keep that in mind for the new subwoofer. So now let's get into the parts that I got to complete this job. So first, of course, we've got a new subwoofer. This is from Pioneer. Like I mentioned, it's 250 watts RMS, so that's the average output that it can handle, and up to 700 watts peak. Now to power this, I've also got a Skar monoblock amplifier that'll be able to power this perfectly. I matched up the wattage of this amplifier to this subwoofer, so everything works perfectly. I've also got a wiring kit to actually power this amplifier, and we might need to splice into a wire to get a signal from the head unit, so I've got this wire splice kit as well. And I do want to preface that I do have a Sony aftermarket head unit that has a pre-out for the subwoofer, so I could go ahead and just take an RCA cable and route it right to the amplifier. And if you have a factory head unit, you could just get a line out converter that essentially takes the output from the speakers in the head unit and converts it to something like an RCA output that can connect to the amplifier. Super easy. It's just another little component that you put in between the amplifier and the head unit. And I've also got this wire splicing tool just in case, because we probably have to do some wiring. And I actually haven't opened this up yet, so let's open it up and see what we get in the box. So it's an 8-inch, and it should directly fit into the housing that we have on the JBL system right now. At least that's what my measurements tell me, so we'll actually see when we take everything apart and fit this new unit in. Now this is a shallow mount subwoofer because we do have limited space in this enclosure, so it should fit pretty nicely. All right, so here you go. You've got your cover that you'll put on top. You've got your actual subwoofer itself. This is a dual voice coil at 2 ohms, but we'll be wiring it to 1 ohm. And we've also got our hardware. Now I will move this to the side and we'll take a look at the amplifier. Like I mentioned, this is from Skar Audio. And I believe at 1 ohm, which is what we'll be wiring this at, it should have around 387 RMS power. And we can of course dial that back with the gain. So this is plenty. I definitely didn't want to have an amplifier that didn't, or couldn't have enough or produce enough power for the subwoofer. So this should be a good option. And like I mentioned, the subwoofer is going to be wired to 1 ohm of resistance, and this right here is 1 ohm stable at 350 watts of RMS. So we've got plenty of power in the amplifier to power this subwoofer. The subwoofer won't be drawing too much power that will damage the amplifier, so we're good. This is a perfect pairing. And we've got A box in a box in a box. So we're gonna go into the third box. Hopefully it's in this one. All right, here you go. Here's our amplifier, nice compact unit, and we're gonna actually be putting this under the back seats. So I'll show you where we'll put that when we get to it. And this does come with a bass controlling knob, so you could put this up in the front seat and you can control your gain up front so you don't have to fiddle with it. You can do it on the fly, so definitely will be installing this. All right, so now comes the fun part, actually disassembling everything that we need to take off in order to install this cleanly. And I do want to go for an OEM plus look, so I want to make sure that everything's hidden and tucked away nicely. So first, of course, we have to take off this panel to access the subwoofer. We also need to take off all the paneling that goes down the right-hand side of the vehicle so that we can route our wiring. And that includes this cover right here in the back seat and this kick panel. And we're actually going to be mounting the amplifier under the rear middle seat. And then coming down the passenger side, we'll also need to take off this kick panel and this panel right here so that we can access the firewall and a grommet to pass our power line through and to the battery for our amplifier. Now there's tons of videos on how to disassemble all of this online on YouTube, so I'm not going to put you through it. I'm going to take everything apart and then I will report back to you once I get it all complete, and I'll tell you if there's any hiccups along the way. Okay, it doesn't look like much, but we pretty much have everything off that we need in order to access the subwoofer. Now, this we could just pry back and access. I have to take out the back seats in order to fully take this panel off. So I'm gonna leave that in place, got plenty of access, so we'll do that right here. And I've also got enough access, it's kind of hard to see, but over that rear wheel arch, I can run the wiring and I could route it right through here, following the rear washer fluid line and this wiring loom, following it down here, all the way through the passenger side door sill. And then there's a little bit of a grommet that the washer fluid and the wiring harness goes through. So we're gonna tap into that through the engine bay, route the power cable to the battery, and then coming here, I have the entire head unit disassembled. I know it looks like a lot, but I promise it's not that intimidating. Right here, we have our sub out, so that'll be where we tap into our RCA cable. And then we just need to tap into one of the wires in that harness so that the amplifier knows when to turn on. So I'm gonna put a wiring diagram up on the screen right now. You can take a look at how we're actually gonna route this all. Also, don't forget to disconnect the battery before doing any electrical work. So we're gonna do that first before we take everything apart. So now I have the subwoofer enclosure outside of here. Took it out so that I have better access to this old subwoofer. And this is our new one, and it fits perfectly in that enclosure. Now this is a sealed enclosure, it's not ported, and as you can see, it's pretty small, so we'll keep that in mind when we adjust our low pass filters and our subsonic filters. And if you look right here, here's the difference between our new subwoofer and our old one. So now I've got our new subwoofer wired up, and let me explain how I did it. So I have my speaker wires coming in to the positive terminal here on this coil, and then the negative terminal here on this coil. And then I connected the positives to each other and the negatives. This will allow this 2 ohm DVC subwoofer to actually have a 1 ohm resistance. And of course, like I mentioned, our amp is stable at 1 ohms, so that's perfect. So we'll just have to get this set up into our box and pass those wires through here so that we can route them all the way down to our amp. And just like that, we have our new subwoofer installed in this JBL stock subwoofer box. So I actually couldn't fit this cover because the distance between these holes is a little bit farther than the stock subwoofer, so this just wouldn't have fit over. So instead, I just put them right on the subwoofer themselves. Shouldn't be an issue, and I did put some blue thread locker on all of these screws just so it doesn't come loose from the vibrations. So now we just have to get all this installed back in that enclosure. All right, so it's the next day. It actually got a little bit late yesterday, so I buttoned everything back up off camera and it was getting a little cold. So right now I'm gonna go through everything that I did to get you caught up to speed. So back in the trunk, we got everything buttoned back up. We have our Pioneer subwoofer, as you can see, in that enclosure. And I ran all the speaker wires right over this wheel arch, like we mentioned, all the way down to that side. And if we come around, you can see Our wires are coming in right here. And I was actually able to route all of the wiring under the carpet to this amplifier right here. So for the wiring, this speaker wire right here, that goes out to our subwoofer in the back. So that'll route all the way around to the trunk. And then we have our RCA cable that goes to the head unit. So you can see I'm running it right here along the side sill. And we got our 12-volt battery right here that runs to the front of the vehicle. So I've also got that running right here. We've got our ground, and I actually routed that right under here to a mounting point. So that's grounded nicely. And then we have our remote cable that'll connect to our head unit as well to know when to turn on. And that we also have routed towards the front. And as you can see, we've got it running here, and we've got our RCA and remote wires split off to our head unit right here. And we also have the 12-volt running through. And if we come around to the front under the hood, you can see that we passed it through this grommet right here, was able to route it to this fuse in line, which comes in the kit, and then run it with this factory wiring loom all the way to the battery. So the last thing we have to install is this bass control knob so that I could actually adjust the gain from the front seats. And I'm thinking that I want to mount it right here. I think that'll be a pretty clean install. So this is the cable for that bass controller, and I routed it up here. I drilled a small hole, as you can see back here, and I mounted this bass controller right under here. I think it looks really slick actually, and super easy to control and access from the front seats. Now, in order to properly tune my amplifier, I used a multimeter, and I know this isn't the 100% best method, but it's good enough for this purpose in my opinion. So in order to do this, I took my black lead, I put it on the negative terminal where my speaker output is, and then my positive on the positive speaker output. And then I set this to AC volts, and using a 50 hertz test tone, I'm gonna set the voltage to the correct amount. So using this equation that I have on the screen right now, we could find that I have to set this to around 15.8 volts. So for me, I set my speakers at the loudest volume I would normally listen to. And I also have my dial on the bass controller set all the way to the max. And then using the gain switch on the back of the amplifier, I can actually adjust it until I see 15.8 volts. That way I don't blow my subwoofer out, and it'll last a long time. And I also set my low pass filter to around 125, 130 hertz since it's an 8-inch subwoofer, and I also set my subsonic filter to around 25 hertz. Even though it's a sealed enclosure, it sounded a little bit better when I turned that up, so I left it right around 20 to 25 hertz. And just like before, we've got our decibel meter on this iPad, screen capturing, and I'll put the results on the screen. We're gonna play that same 50 hertz test tone at the same volume as the initial. So as you were able to tell from that screen capture, we were getting around 84 to 86 decibels at 50 hertz at the same volume, and that is a huge increase over stock. And something that this video can't capture is that the bass is so much deeper and fuller, and it just covers a wide spectrum of frequencies that you just can't convey over video. Now, I'm not too sure how well this is gonna come across on video, but I've got my microphone here, and we're gonna play some copyright-free music with some bass and listen to see how well this subwoofer actually sounds. That sounds really good. That bass is super clear, super crisp, and really strong. So now that we have it wrapped up, the question, is it really worth the price tag? And I have to say, yes, absolutely it is. For $100 for the subwoofer and just over a little $100 for the amplifier, This sound system sounds incredible. The bass is way deeper, way fuller, and just gives a way better experience when you're listening to music driving this car. I'm not gonna lie, this blew my expectations out of the water, and it's actually so much stronger that I need to add some sound deadening material in that subwoofer enclosure to prevent any plastic rattles. So that's definitely next up. But as always, thank you so much for watching this video. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel, and comment down below what you think of this sound system and how I did for my first ever audio system upgrade. And of course, be sure to stay tuned for our next episode. I'm not sure what we're gonna do next, but we'll definitely keep you updated. And as always, cars are made to be driven, so make sure you get out and drive.